Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. I did say 3-0 yesterday. You'll go back to the live before the game. I did say 3-0 when the team came out. It was 3-1, which is fine. I'm fine with that. And it was a good old day. The first half was absolutely terrible. Let's not deny it. Brendan Rodgers had a bit of a spat with the media afterwards, and that's all over the press this morning. I'm not even going to raise questions about it. I'm not even going to talk about it because let's face it, if it was a manager from any other team that had a go about an agenda with the media, it would get brushed under the carpet. Because it's Celtic and because it's Brendan Rodgers, it is a big deal. That's all I'm going to say about that matter. When we look at it, there is breaking news this morning. Breaking news about Celtic and the transfer window in the summer. It has been suggested that Celtic will spend big this summer. And a lot of fans have raised their eyebrows and said, yeah, we've heard this one lots of times before. But Celtic are seemingly in the market. Well, we know that Celtic are in the market for a goalkeeper. They have been tracking one goalkeeper from Liverpool for a long time. A young goalkeeper that's 25-year-old is the Republic of Ireland goalkeeper that Brendan knows from his time at Liverpool. He did come through the ranks at Liverpool. And Celtic are going to go out and try and buy him this summer. It has been alleged this morning. We haven't had any direct confirmation, but obviously it is big breaking news this morning that Celtic have been tracking the player for a good few years now, and Celtic see him as the ideal player to play for Celtic and take over from Joe Hart. He was on Carabao Cup duty yesterday where the Liverpool beat Chelsea 1-0. I think the score was, I'm not sure. Virgil van Dijk has described him as world class. Will he make the move in the opposite direction to Virgil van Dijk? Obviously, Virgil didn't go straight to Liverpool for Celtic, from Celtic. If he did, we would have got 3 times the amount of money that we ended up selling him for. But that's all in the past. The fact that Celtic are going to spend big in the summer, could the goalkeeper be the man that Celtic want to get in? Because let's face it, there's not too much that we need to do in front of the park. There's a couple of additions that we need to make. Obviously, another striker and a decent holding midfield player, because yesterday's holding midfield player was pretty much like a man down at points. And it'll be an interesting one if Celtic can get him as their first choice goalkeeper in the summer. Liverpool this year are potentially looking to replace Kelleher, who is ready to leave Liverpool. He is a homegrown product, and part of the profit and sustainability section of Celtic will say, yes, it's a good buy. It is a good buy. Even if we've got to go out and spend over £10 million on the player, they will do it. It has been suggested. Alistair Johnston yesterday wore the Batman mask. He wore the Batman mask, and he took to Instagram after the game yesterday and said the mask is in the bin. And I think the mask is probably in the bin going by his first half performance compared to his second half performance when he took the mask off at half time and then came out and it showed signs of the old Alistair Johnson. Definitely showed signs of the old Alistair Johnson. Now, I've got to apologise to the guy who said yesterday I should look out for a young Motherwell player who is quite good and thinks Celtic should sign him. And I was rubbed it off, and I was like, he's 17-year-old. He will never get into the Celtic team, was my thinking. And you know why should we sign him? But my thoughts are now, after seeing him play yesterday, Celtic should sign him and then loan him straight back to Motherwell for his development. I don't want him being in the B team. I want Celtic to go out and buy the young guy and then loan him straight back to Motherwell and let Motherwell have him for 1 or 2 seasons to make sure that his development. And tell Motherwell it's a 2-year loan. We'll buy him off you for good money, and then we'll loan him back to you for 2 seasons so that we know we can watch his progress in Scotland and as a player, and hopefully then he comes into the first team at Celtic. Charlie McGrew said he's absolutely a fantastic little player. They must sign Lennon Millen, said Charlie McGrew yesterday, the young 17-year-old Motherwell midfield player. Let's face it, he's not going to get into the Celtic midfield. This is why I'm saying put him back out on loan. Sign him by all means and buy up the best talent in the country, but loan him back to Motherwell so that his career and his progress can keep on building. You see the effect on the game yesterday. He was part and parcel with the move that opened up Celtic, and even before they scored, I did shout in the pub. I was like, "This is a goal coming! There's a goal coming!" You could see it. He's a level-headed player, and seemingly comes from a good family as well, which means he must bat with the left foot. Would Celtic go out and get them first? Are Celtic there? James McFadden says, hey, yesterday on the telly, said, let them grow, let them grow. Should Celtic, tell me that in the comments, should Celtic sign them and then loan them straight back to Motherwell? I think we should. Anyway, Adam Idah, the man that come off the bench, and I said yesterday, the guy needs to start going scoring goals from open play. And oh my God, did he not do that? Did he not do that yesterday? Adam Idah scored a couple of absolute crackers. He jumped up for that head. We've been missing a player like that. We've been missing a player that can not be bullied about in the box, not be pushed around in the box, and and just stand up and and just be counted. And he did that yesterday. The fact that he's Irish as well. Could it be that Celtic are going back to their roots next season with an Irish goalkeeper, an Irish striker? Oh no. And then we get rid of James McCarthy. Thank goodness. Could that be the world? Is that karma coming back to Celtic? Is that the yin and yang sorting itself out? Getting two cracking Irish players and get rid of James McCarthy, who's Scottish but he's pledged his allegiance to Ireland over the years. Anyway, Blair Spittle put the hosts 1-0 up yesterday, but on the stroke of half time, and a long range effort leaving Celtic going into the half time chat by Brendan Rodgers. And whatever Brendan Rodgers said yesterday at half time did the trick. And you have to feel for Kyogo. A lot of people saying that Brendan has ruined Kyogo as a player. I think Kyogo, the Kyogo issue is the shoulder. He is so, you seen him grabbing the shoulder yesterday. And Brendan Rodgers said it wasn't a shoulder injury the reason that we pulled him off. It was nothing to do with his injury. It was his performance. And I think he's scared as a player. I think Celtic should have gotten another striker earlier on. Kyogo needs to go and get this operation on his shoulder, and I think the sooner that he gets it done, the better. Because if it doesn't, I think Celtic aren't going to get any kind of money for him in the transfer market because it's an ongoing injury issue. He's never really been the same player since Ange left Celtic. Now you can put that down to the whole Ange thing, but personally, I'm going to put it down to the fact that he's getting bullied about the park in Scottish football, and he's scared that this shoulder injury, it's in the back of his mind. And I'm putting it down to that and that only. You can have your say in the comment section and tell me what you think, but I think it's just that Brendan Rodgers was clear at the interval that he needed to change something, and he did, and he opted to bring in the one and only Adam Idah to replace Kyogo Furiashi up front. Idah's first goal after 51 minutes was a stunning, absolutely cracker of a header, like I said, to the bottom corner of the net. And then his second goal was just as sublime. Well, it certainly lifted the Celtic team, who are now 2 points back to 2 points behind them. And it is all in Celtic's hands. I don't care what anyone else says. If we win every game, as ugly as sin, until the end of the season, a 1-0 win, a 2-0 win, every single game between now and the end of the season, we are champions. It is simple as that. And what will make it even funnier is if the team from the other side of the city actually score more goals than Celtic and they don't become champions. That'll be a little bit of karma and a head nod to Tommy Burns back in the day, who that happened to. Anyway, the Cork man scored that goal in the 93rd minute as he poked another one, and crucial. 2 minutes later, Lewis Palmer nips up by scoring the third goal, and the Huns go into complete meltdown because the goals were in injury time, and they'll say, fucking the referees are for the shellac. The referees are for the shellac, man. Anyway, Idah was named man of the match with only a 1.5 performance. 45 minutes and he gets man of the match. What a player. It's the best that he has ever seen the team play. We have the attitude of never give up. Never give up. Never mind, we never stop, as we never give up. People will say that. What happened to Aberdeen? What happened at this game? What happened at this game when we dropped points? The boys done it yesterday, and that is it. Ever since he's been in the team, the attitude of never give up and go to the end. The boys done that today. Well, yesterday, says Adam Idah, reacting to his goals yesterday. Chris Boyd taking a bit of umbrance, saying they spat the dummy out at the end of the game yesterday because Celtic fans were calling him whatever after the game, and he decided to get up and clapping them. Chris Boyd told the Celtic fans, and he said, imagine getting excited about cutting the gap down to 2 points. The meltdown for Chris Boyd on the paper in the next couple of days is going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. He's going to claim all sorts of nonsense. And let's face it, it is all in Celtic's hands. They'll say it's in their hands because they've got to play us. They've never beaten us this season. They've not got a great record of beating Celtic over the past couple of years. And let's face it, the only time that they did win against us last season was a meaningless game. Yes, a meaningless game. A dead rubber. A dead rubber game where Ange Postecoglou decided to put out some of the lesser players in the squad last season and they won. And they thought, we are the champions of beating Celtic once in a season. Anyway, it could be the fact that we might play them twice if we play them in the Scottish Cup, but we still have to do it. It is all in our own hands. Brendan Rodgers went on to say at the end of the game, we will write our own story, insists Brendan Rodgers. When you see all the negative media that has been out there over the last couple of weeks and the agenda against Celtic, it is no wonder that the players are closing ranks and the team and manager are closer than ever together, if you ask me. Brendan Rodgers was brimming with his the late goals, the Celtic way. And let's face it, that is the Celtic way to get late goals and win a game. The fact that we did do it with 11 matches remaining. 11 matches remaining, the title race, including the two Glasgow derbies. Rodgers says, we might have dropped points in the past, but with the unconvincing performances, we turned it around the second half. At least it was the second half that we played good today and not the first half, and it costing us. I would rather play absolutely crap the first half of every game between now and the end of the season and then come out the second half absolutely fighting and knowing what it means to play for this club and know what it means to win as champions, as the boys go on to win every game in the second half. That'll take that all day long, and I don't care what the doubters say about Brendan Rodgers. I don't say that Brendan should never be at Celtic. Brendan Rodgers will be the manager in the summer, and he'll be the manager that brings the Liverpool goalkeeper to Celtic. Mark my words for it. Anyway, I did say yesterday that I'll talk about some information that we got about the last transfer window. And although we only brought in 2 players in the last transfer window, Brendan Rodgers turned down around about 5 players in the last window because he deemed them not good enough. So what does that say for the recruitment team? He deemed a lot of the players that the recruitment team were putting in front of him as not Celtic quality and not what the club needed at this moment. So what does it say about the players that he was? He says the key thing for us at Celtic is to stay together. There's still a long way to go. Even if we drew the game, it's 4 points. It isn't a lot in my experience, but 4 points would have been nothing. The psychologically effect that it would have on our football, and is the other way that we can do it is we can just go out there and we can win convincingly in the second half. We need to have the goals. We need to have the creativity. We have it in the locker. We can do it, and we can still win the league. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.